Yeah, I have given deep thought over the years as to what has brought about China's developmental miracle, and I've considered 12 principles. First, people who work long and hard to improve the lives of their families and the destiny of the country. So the Chinese people come first on my list. Second, the prioritization of economic and social development over ideological rigidity, thus enabling the market to play the decisive allocator of resources and also allowing entrepreneurship to flourish.
In 1978, when China began its reform and opening up, its economy accounted for only 1.8% of the world's total. Today, China's economy has exceeded 100 trillion yuan, making it the second largest economy in the world.
Third, a system, what is called in China the multi-party cooperation political consultation under the leadership of the CPC, and encourages economic development and social enhancement. Fourth, a system that is structured in hierarchical administrative levels, central government, and 5 levels of local government, provincial, municipal, county, township, and village.
During the pandemic, the Chinese government has demonstrated strong and efficient organizational and mobilizing capabilities from central to local levels and has been able to allocate resources to where they are most needed in an emergency, reflecting the strengths of the Chinese system.
5, a system that prioritizes selection, education, training, monitoring, and inspection of key personnel, inculcating a high degree of administrative and managerial professionalism.
Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, accumulated a wealth of grassroots governing experience when he served as Secretary of the party branch and the Liangjiehe Brigade in Shaanxi Province between 1969 and 1975, and as Deputy Secretary of the Zhengding County Party Committee in 1982. He was Secretary of the Ningde Local Party Committee in 1988.
6, a system that solicits and pays attention to expert opinion, whether in the party or occasionally not, as exemplified by the increasing influential power and social pressure of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference at both national and local levels.
For example, proposal number 1075 was issued at the 3rd session of the 13th National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference in 2020. Hoping to speed up the deployment of AEDs in urban public places and strengthen the public's knowledge of first aid. This proposal was put forward by the Central Committee of the Zhigong Party, one of the 8 non-communist parties in China.
7, a system that solicits and pays attention to public opinion through polling and websites and various things that are being developed.
In August 2020, for the first time, the central government sought the views and suggestions of the whole society on the 14th five-year plan through the internet. Li Dianbo, a grassroots party member from Inner Mongolia, posted a proposal on mutual aid pensions on the internet, which was eventually incorporated into an official document by the central government.
8, the setting of long-term goals, midterm objectives, and short-term policies that are monitored and modified continuously, and policies that need long-term commitment can have long-term commitment.
For example, China has completed its target task of eradicating poverty on schedule after 8 years of continued efforts, which far exceeds the election cycle of some countries.
Number 9, a way of thinking that experiments and tests before implementing and rolling out. The original special economic zones in the early 1980s, and more recently the pilot free trade zones that was pioneered in Shanghai and now has been rolled out in many dozen or more different locations. 10, a system that leverages industrial planning and state capital to gain economies of scale and competitive advantage.
Starting from zero, it took China just over 20 years to become the country with the longest mileage of high-speed rail in the world.
11, a system that provides checks and balances via anti-corruption institutions.
The first session of the 13th National People's Congress adopted the Supervision Law, which is the national legislation against corruption. The establishment of the State Supervisory Commission means all persons exercising public power are under supervision.
12, a system that is willing to admit and correct errors.
China had neglected the protection of the environment over its focus on economic development. Xi Jinping later proposed that lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, vowing not to sacrifice the environment in exchange for economic development. Now the answer to the question posted at the beginning is obvious: the adherence to the leadership of the Communist Party of China.